keto diets on a cruise. Hi, I'm Jan Obridge and I'm the Cruise Queen. Now this might sound really strange, but last year I started a keto diet. I hate to call it a diet because it's really a lifestyle change and it's not for everyone, although everyone could probably benefit from it. But I started right at the beginning of August and I had my first cruise in September. So, I mean, food is one of the main things you do on a ship. So I decided I needed to think about how I could cope. I had a September cruise, I had a November cruise, and then I had a Christmas cruise. And I did not want to come off my program. What I decided to do on each of the cruises was to stick as much as I could to a keto-based diet. Now, what is that? Well, keto is primarily counting carbohydrate grams and keeping your carbohydrate grams down to whatever level you've been recommended. I have an app that I use on my phone, which tells me how many grams of carbs I should be having a day to lose weight. But then I know how many I can have a day to maintain weight. So while I was on the cruise, I made the decision that I wasn't going to sweat it. Food is not a big deal to me, but I did want to be able to have a drink or two. But I decided, and I think this is a real key, whatever kind of program you're on, if you're going on a cruise, you need to make a quality decision before you go. I made a quality decision. What does that mean? It means that you decide. The word decide, side is like cutting off. There's lots of words we have that have got side at the end, and it basically means to cut off all other options. When you decide something, you're cutting off all other options. So I decided that it would not have dessert unless on the celebrity cruise we did, they had creme brulee. And I decided that if they had, on the night they had creme brulee, because they normally serve it at least once, I would have a creme brulee. But other than that, I decided that just like at home, I would not have dessert. I would have a cheese plate with no crackers instead. And, you know, it had a little bit of fruit on it, grapes, which was fine. Did I count carbs my whole trip? No, but what I did was I made good choices. For breakfast, I had a cheese omelette or a cheese and onion omelette, cheese and tomato omelette, or scrambled egg, or boiled eggs, but no bread, no toast. And before I went, I'd already programmed myself that bread was not in my daily life. It just didn't happen. So no bread. No bread, no rice, no pasta, no potatoes. And so what else was I going to do? Well, first of all, having a good breakfast set me up for the day. I drink black coffee, so I didn't have to worry about milk or get cream or whatever. Just had a couple of cups of black coffee and eggs. And you can get freshly cooked eggs. I mean, you know, that's great. So cheese is great. So for me, cheesy scrambled egg or a cheese omelette, wonderful. Lunchtime, there's cold cuts of meat you can have with a little bit of salad, with some mayo. That was basically it for me. I'm not a great big eater at lunchtime anyway, so that was enough. Sometimes I'd save a couple of hard-boiled eggs from breakfast and mash it up with some mayonnaise. They never seem to have hard-boiled eggs around at lunchtime, although sometimes you could get egg mayo, sometimes tuna mayo, that kind of stuff. If I could get that, I'd have that with a bit of salad. Again, wasn't counting, just thinking about it. Then in the evening, I didn't take soup. Sometimes I'd have a salad or some kind of hors d'oeuvre, but mainly I'd take my main course and I'd have whatever was on the plate, apart from I wouldn't have the potato. But I'd eat the veg, I'd eat the meat or the fish, and I'd have the sauce that came with it. I didn't scrape it all off. I just ate that and then had the cheese plate. So I found that without too much effort, nobody noticed on the table. There was no kind of, oh, aren't you going to eat? None of that stuff. I ate plenty. as you do on a keto diet, but really it was quite good, if you like, right until the last day. And on the last day, the last dinner, I had soup, I had main course, and I had dessert, just because it was the last day, and then went straight back on my regular eating. So is it possible to do keto on a cruise? Is it possible to stick to any kind of eating program on a cruise? Absolutely. Number one, you've got to decide to do it. Number two, you've got to be a little bit flexible with yourself and not plan to lose, but plan to maintain, and don't cheat yourself. The only person you're cheating if you cheat is you. And that's what I decided not to do. And actually, I'd made a promise to myself that when I got down to a certain weight, I would treat myself to a triangle of white Toblerone, which is kind of my go-to wonderful snack. And I have 2 large Toblerone in my freezer, which people bought me, and I put them straight in the freezer so they're not there as a temptation. But again, I had decided I wasn't going to eat it. So what I did before I went away, I'd set myself a target, and if I was down to that certain level, at Christmas it was, then I would have a triangle of Toblerone. I was half a pound above that before I went away, so I didn't have it. I didn't cheat myself. I said, no, I didn't achieve it, so I'm not having it. Then when I came back at Christmas, now I don't weigh every day, some people do, I don't. And when I came back at Christmas, I said, right, I've come back, my next weigh-in is on Monday. I weigh in once a week, Monday mornings, and I had like 6 days to go because it was like Tuesday. And so I waited till the Monday, and on the Monday, since before I went away to coming back to having that week back at home, I had lost 3.5 pounds. So I sat that night in my bed with a glass of my dry rosé and a triangle of Toblerone, and I loved it. And now I have another goal, and when I reach that, I'll treat myself the same. But I know you didn't really want to hear about that, but you know what? The truth is that it's up to you. Make your decision and then look for the options. If you know what you can eat before you go, then you'll know what you can eat while you're away. So have a great, great week. Please hit the subscribe button if this has been useful. Hit the like, thumbs up, and the notification bell. I'm Jan Obridge. I'm the Cruise Queen. Bye.